Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue Act 1 in our play All My Sons. Today we are going to explain from page 15 to page 26. Before starting, let's remember where we have stopped in the previous video. We stopped at the conversation between Chris and the killer. Chris wanted his father to help him get married to Anne, who was Larry's girlfriend. Now let us know the summary of these pages. Chris insists that there is no other girl for him. Even though they have not seen each other since the war, he declares a challenge. If his parents will not accept his marriage to Anne, then he and Anne will just get married and move to another place. Keller is shocked that Chris thinks that way, and he would leave behind the family business. Chris asks Keller to help him get married to Anne, so that he decides to stay. Chris doesn't care much about money or business. He is much more interested in having a happy family. Mother appears. She is a woman in her 50s, a woman of great capacity for love. She is somewhat younger than her husband. She says that it's funny or it's strange that Larry's tree blew down in his birthday month, and this shows that he is coming back. She believes that everything that happens lately means that Larry is coming back. This month is his birthday, his tree blows down, and his girlfriend came for a visit, and finally Mother found his baseball glove by chance. Chris tries to change the subject and talks about how good Anne looks. Mother is happy that Anne hasn't got married yet. She says that she is happy and didn't fall in love with another man as soon as Larry was declared missing. She believes that she is still in love with Larry, unlike herself waiting for him to come back. Chris is angered by that remark and tells the mother that being not married doesn't mean that Anne is waiting for Larry. Mother has a headache, perhaps from her bad dream. She tells Chris and Keller about her dream. In her dream, she saw Larry flying his plane. His face was so clear. He reached out to her from the cockpit of his plane. Suddenly, he started to fall and cried, "Mom, Mom." Then she woke up at the noise of the wind blowing down his tree. She sees this as more evidence that Keller had been hasty in putting a memorial tree up for him. Memorial trees are put to dead people, and Larry isn't dead. Chris says that maybe they should try to forget Larry, and Mother gets furious. She became half sure of the relation between Chris and Anne. Chris exists to get Mother some aspirin, and Mother asks Keller if Chris intends to propose to Anne. He answers that he doesn't know. Mother says that if Anne is still single, that means that she has been waiting for Larry, and they dare not take her faith away. Mother gets somewhat hysterical, threatening that if Larry is not coming back, then she will kill herself. She says that Keller in particular should still believe Larry is alive, but Keller does not understand why he in particular should believe. Bert appears, but Mother sends him away, saying that they must end the jail business, as we know that Bert was a young boy who plays the cop and thief with Mr. Keller. Anne and Chris enters. Anne is beautiful and strong-minded. She is a woman of about 26. It has been 3 years since she left to New York with her family after the scandal of the old crime. Dr. Jem enters and is introduced to Anne. Sue calls at him to come and talk to his patient on the phone. Dr. Jem has to leave. Before he leaves, he advises Anne that she should never count her husband's money. Anne and the killers discuss their plans for the evening. Anne suggests eating at the shore that night. Mother explains Anne's suggestion that she is longing for her old days with Larry. Anne wonders why Chris has taken Larry's room. Mother mentions that it is still Larry's room. Anne is shocked because the closet is full of clothes and the shoes are shined as if Larry was still alive among them. Mother takes Anne aside. Mother asks Anne many questions about her mother and father. Anne says that her parents are not getting divorced. We get to know that Anne's father is in prison and her mother is waiting for him. Mother asks if Anne goes out much, and Anne knows that she is really asking if she is still waiting for Larry. Anne tells Mother frankly that she is not waiting for Larry. Mother insists that deep in Anne's heart she must think he is still alive. Mother is shocked when Anne says it is ridiculous that Mother is still having hope. Mother gets angry and tells Anne about a newspaper story about a man who was missing longer than Larry and he came back. Anne asks why Mother still believes that Larry is coming back. Mother says it is because certain things have to be and certain things can never be. Not in a world with a God. Mother's words had a hidden meaning in her heart, a meaning she didn't want to reveal clearly. Mother exists after saying those words. Now open your booklet in order to continue the summary in your booklet. Chris threatens to leave town and the family business if his father doesn't encourage his mother to support this marriage. Joe is shocked. Kate enters, a woman in her early 50s. She is happy the tree blew down because it affirms for her that Larry is still alive. They were in a rush to memorialize him with that tree. Kate and Chris tiptoe around a discussion of Anne. Kate doesn't want to acknowledge that Chris might be courting her. Kate recalls a dream she had about Larry last night. When she heard the wind, she imagined it was Larry flying by in his fighter plane. Kate turns to Joe and wags her finger at him. They shouldn't have planted that tree. They gave up too soon. When Chris exists to get his mother an aspirin, she turns on Joe. Chris better not be planning to propose to Anne. Joe says he doesn't know anything more than she does. An outright lie. Kate wants Joe to believe with her that Larry will come back. He asks her to calm down. They are again interrupted by Bert, who brings up the jail. Kate reacts sharply, telling him there is no jail there. Anne enters from the house. She's beautiful and beautifully dressed. She's been living in New York. When Chris shows his admiration for Anne, Kate comments lightly that she has put on a little weight, and remarks on the little changes in the neighborhood, trees, a missing hammock. She is introduced to Jem, who now lives in her old house. When Anne mentions Larry, Kate is relieved. Eventually, she asks Anne directly if she is waiting for Larry. Anne says no. Frank enters and dispels the tension, a little small talk, and then Frank mentions Anne's father. He is in prison. Now let's move to the important questions and the model answers of this part. The first question, quotation: she thinks he's coming back, Chris. You marry that girl and you are pronouncing him dead. Keller said this to Chris, who was insisting on getting married to Anne. Keller warned him that this might destroy his mother. She thinks that Larry is not dead and Anne is his girl. So if Chris gets married to Larry's girl, this would confirm Larry's death and would destroy his mother. I'll get married and live someplace else. Chris said this to Keller. Chris wanted to get married to Anne, so he wanted his father's help to convince Mother bless that marriage. When Keller said it was impossible because Mother sees Anne as Larry's girl, Chris threatened his father that he would get married to Anne and leave the house. Just because she isn't married doesn't mean she's been mourning Larry. Chris said this to Mother. Mother believes that Anne is still mourning Larry, and the reason is that she hasn't got married yet. Chris is angry about the whole subject and tries to convince Mother that Anne isn't waiting for Larry. Why did Kate blame Keller for speaking about jails? Keller was involved in a shameful crime 3.5 years ago. Although he was acquitted and set free, it wasn't easy to convince the neighbors of his innocence. Kate is angry because Keller plays the cop and thief game with Bert. She doesn't want the word jail to be mentioned in their house again. This gives us the feeling that Mother knows that Keller was the real criminal. Well, it never occurred to me that I mean that the shoes are all shined. Anne said that to Mother when she noticed how far Mother is obsessed by the idea that Larry is still alive. Anne stayed the night in Larry's room when she noticed that the closet is full of clothes and the shoes are all polished. She thought that Chris might have taken Larry's room, but she never imagined that Mother would keep the room as if Larry was still among them. Why did Kate believe that Larry was coming back? She said that many things concerning Larry were coming back. Anne, his girlfriend, his baseball glove, his tree, and his birthday. To Mother, this means that Larry was surely coming back. What was Kate's dream about Larry? She saw Larry flying his plane. His face was so clear and real. He reached out to her from the cockpit of his plane. Suddenly he started to fall and cried, "Mom, Mom." It's so funny. Everything decides to happen at the same time. This month is his birthday, his tree blows down, and Anne comes. Mother said this to Chris and Keller. She strongly believes that Larry is alive. This makes her explain everything as a proof on his life. Here she hints that many things concerning Larry are coming back. And his girlfriend, his baseball glove, his tree, and his birthday. To Mother, this means that Larry is surely coming back. Okay, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Goodbye.